Hello everyone, welcome to Noble Creative Tutorials, and today I will show you how to create 3D abstract sci-fi tunnels in Adobe After Effects using Stardust. So create your composition and let's get started. So after create your composition, and as you see here in my comp, I have Stardust applied to this layer and a circular mask, as you can see here. So on Stardust here, let's just delete these nodes and add a model node here. And I'm going for primitive and type to Torus here. Let's make these 8 by 200. So let's create a new camera here and make sure your preset is wide angle here and hit OK. So let's just control this camera here. Zoom out this so we can see our model there, and we can add more segments here just to smooth these objects. So the whole idea here is we want to make this camera inside these Torus to make this tunnel. So what we can do here is actually, let's first have two views here. So this view is front and this is the camera here. So I'm going to copy this path here, and on camera, let's just first reset this camera so you can see it right there and hit P for position, and then just paste these paths so we can see our camera now animating on that. So what I'm going to do here on the model, I'm going to change this angle X by 90 degrees. So now we have that right there. So you can see the path is not on the right place. We want to move that to the center of the model. So to do that, we're going to create a new null. Let's rename this 3D null and make sure it's 3D here. And then just link this camera to this 3D null here and hit S to scale these. And you can see our camera is actually moving there. So let's put that to the center. And if we select the camera, you can see the path moved as well, or scaled as well. And you can see here we have the animation, but we don't want this animation actually. So let's just make these at the first here and just delete these keyframes. So now the camera right there. And so what I'm going to do here is hit R to change orientation here for the camera. And you can see basically anything. Let's first go to Stardust here and enable preview here. So we can see we got a mesh actually here with these wireframes. And on the model here, we need to make sure that double-sided is enabled. So now we can see our model here. That's really nice. So now if we hit R for 3D null and on the Z rotation, you can see now we can animate the camera here, and basically we can rotate and all stuff right here. So what we can do now, basically we need to adjust these so we can play with the camera here, as you can see, if you want to get that right there, but we can just scale these maybe still a little bit more or less. And we can on the camera 90 on the Z rotation as well if you want that to be on the side here. So to animate basically these, we just need to animate here the R on 3D null. So let's go from 1 to 0. And just move the last keyframe just one frame so we can have a looping animation here. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you can see here, our animation setup look fine and seamless as we want it. So now we need to make these sci-fi look to this tunnel using Stardust without complicating things. So to do that, let's first just disable this preview, and you can see everything is white. So we need to create a new light here And you can just skip intensity, choose your color, and have follow. Just as you can see here, we can change things later. So you can see we got a nice light there. So let's have two views so we can see what's going on there. And let's just center these light to the comp. So you can see if we now moving these light right here, things will change here. So I'm not sure if you can see that much. So maybe if we have more intensity here, you can see what's going on there. You can see the light is changing. So let's just keep these 25. And the idea here, we want to make these, actually we need these to be from, so we can see the lights there. And so the idea here, we want the light to be inside the tunnel as well. So just doing the same thing here, copy these path and paste it right here on position. So you can see that light move to these, and also it's animating. So we don't want that to be animating basically. So just duplicate them all. Doing the same thing here. Let's rename these light and make sure to reset these null and link the light to these null as well. So now let's just scale these up and you can see the light move there. So I'm going to duplicate these 4 times and just reveal these keyframes. So for the first one, I'm going to delete these keyframes and I want the light to be in each vertices of these paths. So the second one just going to stop on the second keyframe and just remove that. Doing the same thing for third one and so on here, just to get them on the position I want. So now we have 4. We have the same light now on the whole tunnel. So let's just make different colors there. Maybe I'm going to keep these, just having these colors here, and maybe scale these up a little bit here so you can see moving the light there change the look and stuff. So now we have more control to the light. You can control the light just by itself if you want, so you can see that light change there. So I'm just going to keep it now as it is here. So let's go back to one view here, and basically you can hit R and animate this light now inside the tunnel if you want, instead of animating the camera, or doing both if you want. So now we need to add some nice texture to this tunnel. So we're going to add here a material node. And then right here, we have a few things first we need to prepare, which is textures. So right here, I have a few textures prepared here. For example, this one here. You can see I have this texture, and this one is generating using JS placement free software here. You can download that and just generate different maps to use and just save the heights if you want to use it. You can keep generating. There's so many cool stuff to play with here to generate some very nice maps to use. So right here I have it already here. So let's go back to this tunnel, and I'm going to just get these to the comp. Also, I have environment map to use and golden texture here. So let's just go back to our tunnel here and just drag these maps to use and textures. And so on material node here, I'm going to diffuse and go for golden and zero out color from particle. Just go right there 20, and roughness here going to golden as well. Just let use roughness there, and we have BAM, so I'm going to use that texture. Make sure it's BAM selected and crank up these to 500. So you can see how things look. Let's make it full res so we can see things. Still, we need to play with the material to make things look really nice. So here on Stardust, we are going to assign environment map right here and mix these with the light. So 50%. And you can just change orientation here. Okay, so on model here, you can see how this texture looks. So we can actually play with these on texture mapping here. We can repeat that by 10 on the X. You can see now we got more stuff right there. We can do the same thing on the Y as well. So I'm just going to keep that 10 maybe to 2. And you can see here, we got some really nice look here. So basically now you can just play with the material and light to change the look and the mood for this. So let's just on material, just change, for example here, reflection metal, maybe crank up these a little bit. You can see we got some really nice metallic look there. You can play here, choose different textures to play with here. So I'm going to select there with golden texture if you want to add some roughness there. So you can see how the look change and the way you position the light and play with it, it's going to make things look very interesting and very useful. As you can see here, maybe just add more there. Maybe crank up environment map or actually specular amount if you want that, just so you can see what you can get just by playing with this. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you see guys, this looks pretty cool and you can just see how easy it is to create this kind of tunnel very quickly. And now I'm going to show you a different technique to create a tunnel. A little bit looks very complicated. So let's reveal this comp and then Control D to duplicating it and then just open these. So the idea now is to export these model we created. So first, let's just disable these connection to the material. And on model, we have property here. We can export these model exactly as you see it here. So we are just going to export the torus with the size and also with these setting segments as well. So just hit export and then name it with period obj. And then for now, just going to disable these because I already exported that. And then I'm going to add these nodes here, which is emitter and particle node. And on emitter, I'm going to choose here objects and let's go for once. And right here we have object properties. So we are going to assign the one you export here. I already done that. So I'm just going to import these so you can see right here. So exactly this is how it looks. I'm just going to open these right here. So that's why I'm going to say, let's just have two views by default because they sit two edges and particles are pretty big. So let's just go for one so we can see things really clear and add more life to the particles. So basically, we are having these. We need to zero out speed. So basically, we have our animation there to these, and we need to make these a little bit bigger here, and we need to normalize scale for these if you want. So this is just optional. You can actually normalize the size and just scale these. So basically it's the same thing here. And basically instead of edges, I'm going to choose surface here. So using that, you can't see anything. And because I want to assign a model. So I'm going to add a new model node and connect that to this one here. So first we need to crank up these so we can see something here. So let's go for maybe 15,000 particle per second. And you barely start see some particles there. So we have model, and on model node, we are going to choose primitive and create cube here, 100 on each side. And I'm just going to put these segments to 1. We don't need these to slow down things for us. And I'm going to set these to auto here, just so we can work faster. Okay, so what you can see here, it looks randomized. And so let's just go back to one view here. And basically, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make these model maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 150, and you can see things look really not that interesting. So the first problem here, we have this clipping we need to fix. Right here we have on Stardust, we have clipping right here. We need to set minimum to 0.1. And first we have this problem fixed. And then because we already set up this rig, I'm just going to hit S to scale the camera. Let's go back to front view here. And if we select the camera, you can see it's on the side, not in the middle here. So I'm just going to just move or scale the path of that camera. And now you can see how we're adjusting that camera inside there. So what I'm going to do here, just link these material node we created in the first example, and then just link it to these model node. So you can see now we have these applied right here, and that's pretty much look pretty cool. It's still, we have the same light in the material we created. You can see we have randomizing these cubes right here instead of just flat texture on the tunnel. So now we can basically randomize here the size of these particles, maybe just 30, and keep that texture ratio checked. So now going to have randomizing. I'm going to put that to auto again, so to work a little bit faster because I'm recording, so you can see how things will start look randomized. So I'm just going for 25 there, and we're having animation set up there. So maybe we need to adjust here the camera a little bit, maybe get more size. So it's just up to you how you want that to look. Okay, I think that looked pretty cool. So and now basically we have these set up. We can just start changing here emitter seats, for example, and we are going to get different looks here just by changing the seats. And you can see randomizing these. You can also use Shift Seed on particle node as well right here, which is doing the same thing as you can see here, just changing that, going to kind of generate randomizing things here. So we are going to have the same animation. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So, and now I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to create some more or generate more different looks and styles. So let's basically start with one that looks like this. For example, this one here. So as you can see here in this one, we are here using two different models basically with two different textures here. And right here, we have these two models, and basically on a particle, we have option here to use models using all or random. So basically when you use all, it just pick up one that connects it to this particle, which is the first one you link to the particle. It's going to be used with all. So let's select that to see what's going on. So you can see now we have only one model with material, and if we select here random, it's just going to randomize between these two. You can actually go for more models to randomize to create something that look very random. So you can see this is the second texture there, and you can see how it looks here. And basically when you add color correction and stuff, things start looking very nice here. You can just add allometric color, glow, sharpen, and noise. You can see how now things start look pretty cool here. You can start generating things randomly here. Let's just try these seeds here. And also another thing you can see at the end, we have something looks like some fog there. So basically we have fog right here in Stardust. You can enable, and that's going to add some kind of depth right at the end of the tunnel. You can play with that and change color here. You can see how these look pretty cool, randomizing these. The same setup here, everything is the same. You can just play with it. And so another example here, let's start with these ones here. So this is basically just changing direction of this camera. If you want to have direction to these, just changing that. Everything is the same as we created there. We have these just changing texture, creating different texture here. Basically the texture, you can just start creating textures and then just apply that. Just create checkboard here and use it here. You can see we have really nice surface there, metallic look. You can see the reflection and so on. And here the same thing here. Basically this texture, we just use actually Stardust to create these. You can just create some nice textures using Stardust as well, and then just apply here using different things. So basically this you can create some matrix stuff, tunnels if you want to as well. And we have some other things here. I'm trying to get to these, maybe these ones here. So on this one, as you can see here, we have this nice looking tunnel and the same setup here. So basically two different models here, but let's just link these to see how we did that. So basically going to go to default camera here, and you can see what I have here. Two models. You can see this glowing one is just a square there, and basically where I used a mask instead of cube this time, using a mask to extrude that or to create that. So here I have circle, and because we have these path samples, we can sample these to change it from disk to these cube if we add extrusion here. So the difference here is extrude set to just 2 and to the other one is 20. So just place it there and this one in the middle, just so we can have two separate materials to create something looks just like these. And then link these to particle node, and we need to use all, use model set to all, so we can have both of them. If we use random, it's just going to randomize between the two, and that's not what we want. This is just how we create these models, but the most important property here is rotation properties. So by default is oriented to nothing, which is just going to be randomized here, as you can see. So you need to set that to normal, and it's just going to get into the right place here. And we have a few properties here we're going to see in other examples here. So let's see this one. So this one basically is the same idea here. And you can see how really cool with the same thing we can just get different looks. Right here is the same using mask. We can crank up that if we want to use desk. You can see how the shape is going to change here. Set that to 1. We have more extrude and just using one model there. You can see how cool is this. And on particle, we just orient that. We play it here with the Y angle, and we have angle randomized. So to randomize that to get it more looking randomizing there, which is very nice. We have speed and limit angle to limit the speed or rotation if you want to set that. These models going to animate if you want that. You can also randomize here the speed if you want. So playing with material node, lights, and other properties I showed you, which is the key to create these kind of really cool looking. So for example, this one here, the key here is just the fog, and on material, just getting less diffuse amount and ambient amount, so we can make a little bit darker and use fog here just so we can have the end of tunnel with the light there. So we can just keep playing with these around. Right here we have this example which look kind of the same as this one, just playing with properties and the model rotation property and the model settings to get this cool thing, which is the same here as well. Another examples here, just to give you ideas. For example, this one here, you can see just the same setup. For these ones, I showed you already, just getting nice. So for example, this one, using the mask rectangle shape instead of circle to get these nice models here combined together to create that. You can also create some cool stuff here, which is this one using circle and just playing here with this one playing with, I think, having a less path samples. So just having one, and you can see creating that circular shape as well. And just link these both so they can change both at the same time. And as I say, the key is rotation for this one kind. And a last one I want to show you here, which is very important, tricky one. You can see this nice cube with these all details here using deform. If you want to generate the whole tunnel, but it's really heavy and you need to be careful about it, because in this model here, we have cranked up these to 500 segments, which is slowing down things, because in deform, to get these, you need to use deform typeset to map, and then use a texture map we used here with this material node, and then just use the position here and this offset, because it displays these cube, and then you need to offset that to get into place. I'm trying not to show you because I'm recording and it's really heavy. So you can see the nice details here. So if we zero out the amount here, you will see what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, using that different here, you can see how deform these cube using deform node. And instead of using just map with pimp map on material node, you can actually use deform to get all these details here You can see how the details look. We can just link these with the particle node and get that cube on our tunnel. So that's it, guys. Hope this tutorial is very useful for you as always. And if you have any questions, just comment and I will do my best to be responsive. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials coming soon. And thank you for watching.